IVF is a topic that had never crossed my mind. I'm embarrassed to admit it's a topic I knew very little about. That all changed a year ago when my husband and I found ourselves facing secondary infertility, meaning we were having a really hard time having a second child. I had gotten pregnant easily and naturally with our son, who was born when I was 40, and now the obstacle is my age. At age 42, I was a bit older to be trying to have a child, I soon learned. My OBGYN recommended we do IVF. And honestly, when I heard IVF, I thought, well, all the stories I hear about IVF end in success. We'll do a round, we'll have a baby, no problem. That is not the reality. I have learned in this year on this journey that IVF is emotionally, mentally, physically, really, really, really tough, and people simply just don't talk about it. And I think for me, the most sobering moment was at my first appointment with my fertility doctor. He ran some tests and told me that my ovarian reserve was low, meaning I had a low number of eggs, on top of the fact that I was 42, which meant the eggs I do have left, for the most part, would not be viable, would not lead to a pregnancy. My first round of IVF failed. The second round of IVF failed. IVF is so tough. It's impossible to imagine unless you are going through it or you've gone through it. This is just a fraction of the shots I've had to inject myself with over the past year. All of these IVF stories I'd ever heard ended in success. No one talks about how IVF more often than not fails. And here I am, it's failing for me. And I knew at that point, regardless of how difficult it would be, and it is difficult, I had to talk about it. I had to share my story. And so that's what I want to do with you on our CBS Mornings series, Facing Fertility. I want to open up the conversation about fertility, and I want women and men who have suffered in silence for so long to be able to open up and talk about their stories too.